Hi everyone, this is Sean, and this week I'm going to talk about forgiveness. Um, it's a topic that's just been on my mind a little bit lately, and just wanted to kind of share some of the things that I thought about that, some of the things I've seen in my life, and hopefully this is inspiring. The goal of this channel here is to really inspire people. My background is that I'm a coach, a life coach, and my background is actually accounting and tax, but went back in 2008 for a degree in counseling, and then got my coaching accreditation from AACC, and so what I want to do is really inspire people and help people learn different things and get better. And then obviously for YouTube Live is really just to interact with people, kind of hear the different things that your thoughts, the things that are on your mind, and hopefully I can just help other people, and that's really what it's all about here. So without further ado, I'm going to start with I don't remember where I heard this, but someone said that forgiveness is like setting a prisoner free and then finding out that prisoner is you. So if you think about that, when we hold a grudge against somebody, or we feel like, this person doesn't deserve forgiveness and that kind of thing, if we kind of look at it from the perspective that that is actually more damaging to us, to the person that's holding that grudge, or to, keeping that person from forgiveness. The thing I think that keeps us from forgiving somebody is, one might be that, what they did is just so horrible in our minds that, we just can't see how we can get past that. And it could be, who knows, that might be the case. But what forgiveness is really saying is it's not that what they did is okay. And I think that's where we get hung up, is that, a lot of times if somebody says, "I'm sorry, forgive me," a lot of times the answer is that's okay. And it doesn't have to be that. It's not necessarily okay. I'm not saying that I'm exonerating the fact that what you did was wrong. I'm saying that I'm no longer going to hold that over your head. It also doesn't mean that I have to say, you know what, I forgive you, and therefore I have to be your best friend again. There's trust, right? There might be, if someone violated your trust in a certain way, it doesn't mean that you should just tomorrow, when you say I forgive you, just decide that from now on, I'm just going to go back to the same place that we were before. That may not be possible. And, if someone really betrayed your trust, it may not be advisable. All it's saying is, I release you from the anger and the hatred and whatever it might be that's built up inside of me. I'm releasing you from that. And when I'm doing that, I'm actually taking that burden off myself. Because you know what? A lot of times the person that you're angry at, or the person that you can't forgive, not always, but often, they've moved on. They're forgetting all about it. They're living their life, and you're crippled by this anger and this maybe hatred, maybe just this state of unforgiveness. And the other thing is, how do you expect to be forgiven yourself if you can't forgive other people? And again, I'm not saying this is easy. It's often, very difficult for us to do that. But think about it from the perspective of freeing yourself. If you're freeing yourself from something, wouldn't that be something you'd really want to do? I want to forgive myself, not forgive myself, but I want to let go of something that's just eating me up inside. And by forgiveness, I can do that. So from that, I wanted to actually kind of go into, something else. So let's just say, flipping that over, and you're the person that needs to be forgiven. Go to that other person that you hurt or damaged, or did something bad to, and let them know that you're sorry, that you repent from what you do, and hey, I recognize that what I did was damaging to you and to our relationship, and I'm really sorry that I did this. From there, once you've asked for forgiveness, you have to let yourself free, because whether that person then forgives you or not, you're forgiven. So, and again, it has to be heartfelt. You have to really feel like you're looking for forgiveness and you're not going to do this again. But once you've asked for forgiveness, you have to let that go. And you have to say, look, I'm heartily sorry for what I did. And, I want forgiveness. And I'm going to accept it, whether it's given to me or not. Because if you ask for it, it's yours. So, you may have done something that somebody else feels that's, irreparable and they can't trust you anymore. And, you have to accept that. But at least know that you are forgiven by the fact that you've asked for that forgiveness. Maybe not from that person, but hopefully they'll be able to let go of that hurt so that it doesn't drive them crazy and ruin their lives. But the fact that you asked for forgiveness, you're forgiven. And so I hope that's helpful. Now, the other thing that, brought me to want to talk about this is people of faith essentially get held to a higher standard. And a pastor I had in the past, and similarly a priest that my wife had gone to the church that the priest was in, two different people in the past have been caught up in adultery. And we kind of look at it and stop and think and just say, wow, if a person of faith does this, how does that shake my faith? And the answer is that you can't let it. It can't. Because remember, this is a person doing something, and they're people just like we are. Now, we hold them to a higher standard because they hold a position in a church or in a community or whatever it might be, that we assume that they have to be perfect and that they can't make mistakes. Now, and to some level, they should know better and they shouldn't put themselves in situations where that can occur, but no different than myself or you doing the same thing. It's a sin, it's wrong, and there's other people that are hurt. Maybe their spouses, or in the case of the priest, he had to leave the Catholic Church because, he decided that he wanted to have a relationship with that woman. I don't know. I didn't really follow the story, but it was he was in Florida. It was actually in the news, and yeah, from what I understand, he actually married the woman. So, I mean, good for him, I would say, right? If you can't carry out the duties of where you are, then to remove yourself from that instead of living a lie, then, from that perspective, that's probably a good choice. The pastor that I knew, when I heard about it, it was kind of surprising to me, to be honest. And I had to really think about it in many different contexts. And I saw people responding on social media about it, and there's forgiveness for him. He's not with that church anymore, and I get it. They couldn't have him there. A lot of people will then leave that church and move on to another church. And to me, it's something that hurts. It's something that's hard, but we have to forgive that individual as well. We can't hold that over them because, again, we're just a parishioner in that, church, and they might not even know how it's affecting us because we're just one of many. Hey, I want to be blunt. I mean, I hate to make it sound like, you're not important. Every one of us is important in a church context, but you may just be a hello, how are you? What's that guy's name or what's that woman's name? They may not, really connect with you on that level, or even if they do, it's a mistake they made, and it's something that they're gonna have to pay the price for, right? In certain ways, so they lose their position in that church. They lose the relationships with the others around them, or damage them, and they have to rebuild. They have to build that trust that I talked about before again, and hopefully that's something they can do. Would that preclude those people from being priests or being pastors again? I don't know. I mean, if God can forgive me or you for any of the things that we've done, why wouldn't he forgive this person if they, are really sorry about it and they plan not to do it again? I mean, I remember hearing a band, We As Human, the singer of that band actually had an affair, and he wrote an open letter on their website. I'll link the website below if you want to go see it. It's probably still up there. But a couple of years ago, and he was just saying he can't lead a Christian band anymore when, that's what he's done. And again, it's, not to take away from anything that was done. It's bad. It's a terrible thing that was done. But, with that said, there's forgiveness for him too. There's forgiveness for all of us. So I don't think we should go into a scenario. We shouldn't go into a situation saying, hey, we're going to ask for forgiveness. Let's do wrong and ask for forgiveness later. That's probably worse. But, and kind of thinking back to elementary school, when one of the pastors said to the priests or the nuns, whatever it might have been, said to us, forgiveness is always there. So it's there for you. The problem is you don't want to do something saying, I'll ask for forgiveness later, because what if that opportunity doesn't happen? You don't know if you go to sleep tonight and you don't get that opportunity tomorrow, or, hey, I'll just indulge in this for a certain period of time and then ask for forgiveness later, because, that'll be fine. We don't know. No time is promised to us. You could have a car accident, God forbid, in 10 minutes, or, just something happens that's unbelievable, and it's too late, So let's not put ourselves in a situation where we're, do wrong now and ask for forgiveness later. But, if we really are sorry and we really did, make that mistake, forgiveness is for all of us. I'm going to pause here for a moment and just ask you to, if you haven't before, subscribe to my channel. Post comments below. I want to hear what you think. What is your consideration? What are your thoughts around what I've said so far? What do you think? Is there something that you feel is just so bad that you can't be forgiven? Well, I'm going to tell you, in this case, you're wrong, that you can be forgiven. And I hope you accept this and accept this message as you can be forgiven. If one person holds that against you, something that you've done, you can still ask for forgiveness, and you don't have to necessarily get it from them. Say a prayer, pray for forgiveness. Ask that person also who you wronged, for sure, but, pray for forgiveness. So I hope this has been helpful for people. And, like I say, subscribe, and I'd like to have you join my future live streams. I'm going to do these every Monday at 9:30 p.m. I'm going to do other topics as well, but I hope this benefited somebody. Even if it helps one person, I'm just really happy about that. And tell me other topics you'd love to hear me talk about. I have a list of them myself, and I'll probably put a few in the description below that I'm going to talk about in the future. I might even put up a survey to poll at you guys to see what you would prefer me to talk about next. But hey, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Remember, we all make mistakes. We all do things wrong, and forgiveness is for all of us. So, ask for that forgiveness and forgive yourself. And of course, forgive other people too, because if we want to be forgiven, we got to provide others with forgiveness as well. So, thank you so much for watching. Please comment below, share your thoughts, share what you think about forgiveness, and, would love to hear. So once again, I look forward to building this audience and answering questions in future live streams. And, like I say, I'm going to do this every Monday at 9:30. And, it could be 15 minutes, it could be 30 minutes, hopefully over time. If I'm answering people's questions, having a dialogue, having a conversation with people, that, maybe it'll be even longer. But, once again, I thank you for watching, and look forward to speaking to you in the next one.